years ago, in time as we know it, although in reality it never occurred at all, the Son of God forgot to laugh. Someone had the first non-loving thought. But because God or love is all that is, if you think without love, you're actually not thinking at all. You are hallucinating. So, the Course in Miracles says, this entire three-dimensional reality is a giant mortal hallucination. It is what Buddha called it, illusion. Now, that does not mean that the material world is bad. It means that of itself, it's nothing. There's nothing in the Course in Miracles to indicate that the material world or the body itself is bad. Rather, it is neutral. And what happens is that it is either unholy or holy, depending on the purposes the mind ascribes to it. Now, the Course in Miracles says that the miracle is a shift in perception. And the primary miracle has to do in a shift in perception regarding who we think we are. And that miraculous shift means we go from body identification to spirit identification. From thinking of ourselves as bodies to thinking of ourselves as spirits. If you think of yourself as a body, you think you were born at a certain point and you will die at a certain point. If you think of yourself as a body, then all of your worldly drama defines you, and it defines everything you think is real in terms of your relationships with other people. If you think of yourself as a spirit, you realize, as the Course in Miracles says, that birth was not a beginning but a continuation, and death is not an end but a continuation. In traditional Christianity, where they talk about those who know Jesus shall never die, that doesn't mean, well, from a metaphysical interpretation, it doesn't mean that you don't drop the mortal body. It means that you live in a realm in seeing Him, i.e. Christ, i.e. light, i.e. whatever words we want to use for that immaculate concept, the Shekinah, the Spirit, that which is true within us. When you relate to that as reality, you interpret death differently. What it means to say death will be the last enemy, what that means is it's the last thing you will think of as an enemy. And the resurrection is the realization that the dead do not die. Now, when we shift from body identification to spirit identification, counterintuitively, we sit much more comfortably within the body. The Course in Miracles says that the reason there is sickness is because our over-identification with the body puts a stress on the body that the body was never meant to carry. I mean, think about that. It's so obviously true. We're all stressed out. I got to do this. I got to do that. And we know that stress is the primary cause of illness. So when we say that the body isn't your reality, the spirit is, as I already said, that's not to say the body is bad. But the Course in Miracles, by giving us an otherworldly perspective on the world, gives us the keys to living powerfully within the world. Once again, this is about very practical application. It's about attaining inner peace, not by going off somewhere, but by going off somewhere. You're not heading into a different physical space because you can be in a different physical space, but still in hell within your mind, hell being what the ego does to you in any moment when you perceive according to the ego's interpretation. So the body is something, the Course in Miracles says, that is a beautiful lesson in communion until communion is, which I think is such a beautiful phrase. It's a beautiful lesson in communion until communion is. Anything, the Course in Miracles says, anything in the material world, when it is given to the Holy Spirit to use for His purposes, becomes a holy thing. Now, that's the essence.